I think you would all agree that life is just difficult right now. It's difficult for our people working in our hospitals and our doctors and our nurses. Of course it is. We've got people here from Graymere that are leaving that went to Chicago to help out with COVID-19 relief. Life is certainly not easy for people in much bigger cities right now. Certainly not easy for our doctors and nurses. Life isn't easy for those working in church media or any kind of technology right now either. We've got a lot of work to do. We've put out a lot of videos in the past few weeks, and life just hasn't really been all that easy. It's been 6 to 7 days a week working on videos, especially from my viewpoint, and I know a lot of other ministers and a lot of other church workers are doing the same things. But you know what? Life might not be easy for you either. You might be stuck at home. You might be waiting for the curfew or waiting for the stay-at-home order to lift, and maybe you be able to get out or something. Maybe because of your age, you haven't been able to do the things that you normally do, or get out and exercise, or get out and socialize, not have human contact. It's been difficult. I would think that you would think that all sides of this virus thing have just been difficult. And we've all got our difficulties, don't we? Even without COVID-19, even without the coronavirus coming around in the last 6 to 8 weeks, we've all got things that afflict us on every side. That's what Paul said. He said that I've got afflictions on every side. You know, sometimes there are bills that are due. There's job insecurities. There's friends maybe that won't speak to us. Maybe there's that person at work who just seems bent on making our life miserable. Some of these things we look at and we think we can't handle these. Sometimes life just tumbles in. We have these, what the Bible says, conflicts without and fears within. Paul, if you think about it, was no stranger to trouble. If you think you have hard days, and we do, I know we do. It's not really appropriate to equate Paul's hard days with ours necessarily, but when we think about his hard days, this is what he dealt with. In 2 Corinthians chapter 11, starting in verse 23, he dealt with imprisonments. He was beaten times without number, often in danger of death. And this is what he says, 5 times I received from the Jews 39 lashes. 5 times. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. A night and a day I have slept in the deep, in dangers from rivers, dangers from robbers, dangers from my countrymen, dangers from the Gentiles, dangers from the city, dangers in the wilderness, dangers on the sea, dangers among false brethren. And I have been in labor and hardship, though through many sleepless nights, in hunger and thirst, often without food, in cold and exposure. How do you do that? How does Paul live beaten times without number, in danger of death, sleepless nights, hunger and thirst? How did he get through all that? It makes our little list, it makes our concerns these days not sound that big of a deal, doesn't it? Our list today is not simple. It's not easy. The secret to dealing with our hard places is the same secret that Paul used. It's found in verse 6 of our text here. After Paul says he had all these fears and conflicts, he says, what? But God. He says, but God. There's only 2 words. But God. 2 words. They can turn everything around. 2 words that make all the difference in the world. 2 words that are only available to us, are available to us to use at any time. But God. But God, who comforts the depressed, comforted us. Let's remember that today.